Welcome back for another weekly wrap, but this edition is a special edition that came from a senator friend of mine, Senator Mark Pody. And with that, we're going to go down today and read it from one of the Senate hearing rooms. And so this ought to be a good conversation to see what they're doing in the Senate as well as the State House here. So stand by and we will take it from the top. Well, I have an exciting weekly wrap that I'd like to share with you coming from, we're still in the cafeteria area from the weekly wrap from the House. But with that, we've got a weekly wrap I'd like to share with you that came from Senator Mark Pody. And with that, you can see the elevators still where you would come and go in the Cordell Hull building, the steps that go towards the state capitol. To the left would be the House hearing rooms. To the right, we will find the Senate hearing rooms. The largest Senate hearing room is the Senate hearing room number 1. There's one of the TV screens. You can be in the hallway keeping up with the proceedings inside of these hearing rooms. With that, there's more hearing rooms for the House than there are, because across the hall we have House hearing room number 5. Large capacity in the Cordell Hull building, better than the Legislative Plaza where we were at a year and a half, 2 years ago. But let's do the weekly wrap from Senator Mark Pody. Let's go into Senate hearing room number 2. Very similar to the House hearing rooms. Once again with the TV screens where you can catch testimony, presentations, whatever. Certainly what you're seeing behind the chairman's chair position up there is the General Assembly flag. And when we're in session, that flag will be flying over the Capitol. When we're not in session, you're just going to see the American flag and the Tennessee flag. So that's kind of a trivia question if you want to share that with somebody. But the General Assembly flag will fly only while we're in session here in Nashville, Tennessee. So let's get set up and let's have the words from Senator Mark Pody about his legislative wrap, what he's seeing on the Senate side. And certainly later we can compare the two, the agenda for the House, the Senate, and also for the new governor, Bill Lee. Well, from the State Senate hearing room, we have a weekly wrap that came from my friend, Senator Mark Pody. And what I'm going to do is read that, and he's got it dated January 24th, 2019 from Nashville, Tennessee. State budget, education, rural development, criminal justice reform, and drug abuse will headline 2019 legislative session. The organizational session for the 111th General Assembly completed. Governor Bill Lee took the oath of office, and now it's time to get to work on the issues facing Tennessee. Issues expected to headline the 2019 session included the state budget, education, rural development, criminal justice reform, and continuing progress in Tennessee's war on drug abuse. Continued conservative budgeting. Governor Lee is meeting with various departments and agencies of state government for the next week in his effort to put together his priorities of the 2019-2020 fiscal year. Tennessee is ranked as one of the best financially managed states in the nation with the highest AAA bond rating issued by all 3 major credit rating agencies. Conservative budgeting and a healthy rainy day fund, which is the state savings account, is case of a downturn in the economy, is a big part of that success. Tennessee's tapped into nearly $800 million from both the Rainy Day Fund and the TennCare reserves during the last economic recession. Currently, the Rainy Day Fund is at $861 million, well on the way to a target of $1 billion recommended by our financial experts to withstand any future economic downturn. There will be a move to continue the progress towards that recommendation. Overall, the efforts this year will be to keep Tennessee a high-growth, low-tax state which is fiscally responsible while meeting the needs of the state's most vulnerable citizens. Jobs. On the economic development front, efforts will continue during the 2019 legislative session to keep Tennessee moving forward at as the fastest growing state in the Southeast in job creation. Over the last several years, the General Assembly has made great strides in preparing students for the 21st century marketplace and in creating a business-friendly climate. These efforts have resulted in Tennessee receiving numerous accolades for job creation, including being ranked first in the nation for job growth among small businesses. A November report showed that Tennessee has the 4th highest small business job growth and the 3rd highest wage growth in the nation. Unemployment in Tennessee is currently at historic lows due to the robust economic growth with a positive outlook for continued success. Expanding opportunities in the state's rural communities. There will be emphasis on the need of rural Tennesseans in the upcoming legislative session as exhibited by Governor Lee's first executive order. On Wednesday, the governor issued an executive order to accelerate plans to assist 15 distressed rural counties in Tennessee. This action is in sync with promise to focus on economic development and agriculture advancement that will support jobs and propel progress in the state's rural communities. Agriculture is 13% of the state's economy, but many believe the industry is still emerging, including developing of the technology industry which can advance it. Enhancement of agriculture education in the state's K-12 public schools could be on the agenda this year. Another issue that could be on the table this year is the expansion of the broadband services into rural and underserved communities. Such expansion would build on the Broadband Accessibility Act passed by the General Assembly in 2017. That law improved access through a 3-year investment of $45 million to spur development in rural, unserved areas of Tennessee, opening them up to economic investments and job growth. Access to broadband is also a key element in expanding health care access to some of the state's remote locations through telemedicine. Criminal justice reform. Criminal justice reform will be under consideration during the 2019 legislative session. A key goal in this effort is to reduce recidivism, which currently stands at approximately 47% in Tennessee. The goal is to make criminal justice system more efficient and to place as small a burden on taxpayers as possible, while maintaining strong protections for public safety. A reform effort could particularly focus on rehabilitation of nonviolent offenders. Areas that could be addressed in a top-to-bottom look include a reentry program, expungement, alternatives in incarceration, as well as expansion of successful drug courts, treatment programs, and recovery facilities. Similarly, expect efforts to focus on increasing the employability of those with criminal convictions by taking steps to help them get a fresh start when they are released. Governor Lee has expressed his desire to provide improved reentry and education programs to reduce recidivism that will give offenders the opportunity for a stable career and the ability to learn specific vocations or trades. Vocational education. Expect K-12 education to be the centerpiece of Governor Lee's 2019 legislative agenda, including proposals to elevate career and technical education for the students. There is currently a deficit of workers in skilled trade jobs in the volunteer state. His agenda will likely include initiatives that prepare students choosing a career path for good-paying jobs in Tennessee's employment market to fill that skill gap. Accordingly, legislation could be on the table to engage private sector employers in more meaningful work-based learning programs or apprenticeships in the state's public schools, creating pathways for students who are not going to college. This will complement efforts made over the past several years to improve high school and college graduation rates and to create a qualified workforce for new and existing businesses. Curbing drug addiction, which is a problem. The General Assembly will continue efforts to curb opioid abuse in Tennessee during the 2019 legislative session. A major legislative strike at the problem was made during the 2018 session with a 3-pronged approach for more effective law enforcement, treatment, and prevention. Lawmakers also took steps to prevent opioid abuse and addiction by focusing on education, data collection, neonatal abstinence syndrome, and adverse childhood experiences. The legislature will carefully examine how these laws are working and consider additional measures, especially expansion of treatment, which can take to curb the problems which has been seen at epidemic levels. The legislature will also look at how to reduce the flow of illegal drugs coming into Tennessee, including fentanyl and heroin. The heroin influx in Tennessee possesses a major problem with deadly repercussions because the drug is sometimes laced with even more powerful and dangerous narcotic fentanyl. These dangerous drugs have been on the rise over the past several years, especially as steps have been taken to curb Tennessee's prescription opioid epidemic. With that, that is from the Senate. Hope you enjoyed that updated information. That's a different spin on it than what we've been telling you with our weekly wraps, but that was for January 24th, 2019, Nashville, Tennessee, from Senator Mark Pody. We appreciate his contribution to our state as well as to the weekly wrap, keeping you, the citizens, informed locally and afar off. But I hope that you have a blessed day. Stay tuned for the next legislative wrap. And with that, I'm thinking the Capitol building. The Capitol building, somewhere we will do the next legislative wrap from that location. Anyway, you have a blessed day. Thank you.